5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Another mirror matchup, guys. Samsung Con versus MBC Hero. MBC is up 1 game on Samsung Con. A little unexpected, but it happened nonetheless. And now we are sitting here with Jangbi versus Jaehoon. It's going to be a PvP on match point, and on this map, like we've seen, it's all about the Protoss. Protoss. Ever since they updated the map, Terrans are no longer favored here, so every team is just sending in their Protoss players. So we do have Jaehoon, by the way, spawning in the top right position, and in the bottom left as our white Protoss, that's going to be Jangbi. I haven't seen Jangbi play in quite some time, so I am really looking forward to this, especially in a PvP where he really starts to shine. So yeah, this is a 2-player map, so scouting is not going to be an issue with these players. And it looks like Jangbi actually sending out a really early probe. We're going to have to see what he does with that. I haven't seen any kind of cheesy builds on this map thus far, but who knows, maybe Jangbi is looking to do some kind of early rush strategy here.
It would definitely be interesting to see. I mean, Jangbi has been slumping lately, but I think it's mostly because he's been getting run up against Zergs, and that's usually just been his weakest matchup. So it'll be very interesting to see what Jangbi has got in store for his Protoss opponent. Jangbi's Protoss versus Protoss is, I think, still very good. And Jaehoon, on the other hand, not a player that ever particularly impressed me, and I also kind of am disappointed that he doesn't still have his neon purple hair at time of casting, or at the time this game was played. There's Jangbi's probe finally arriving. It's going to pick away at some of these other probes a little bit and steal the gas.
So yeah, I guess that was the strategy. It wasn't so much an early rush as just an early gas steal. So maybe he's just looking to take some kind of a tech lead here. However, I think Protoss is, these days, they usually like to open with some kind of 2-gate build either way. You can go, obviously, you can still go 1 gate into core, but I think it's become a little bit more of the standard to go for that 2-gate build, get a couple of Zealots before you start producing Dragoons. So regardless, we're going to at least see Jaehoon have to build 1 Zealot here, and it looks like Jangbi actually doing something, really cute here. He's just swapping off the gas with the minerals, and it's going to slowly deny, going back and forth here, slowly deny some of the mining to that upper mineral patch there, which is going to make the mining a little bit less efficient for Jaehoon. But yeah, I agree with you. I've seen Jaehoon's wacky hairstyles, and I was really looking forward to that as well. Last I saw it was like bright white, but not the case now.
Yeah, he is not sporting the Raiden do anymore. He's actually looking pretty bland, and well, hopefully his play will be a little bit more exciting than that. That assimilator is about to go down, and it looks like Jangbi might be attempting to steal the gas again, and it would be really embarrassing for Jaehoon if Jangbi gets it a second time. Who's got the assimilator there? It looks like Jangbi got it again.
Yeah, Jangbi gets her again, so this is really going to set Jaehoon behind quite a bit here. And I think actually he did throw down a core because I didn't see a second gateway. Oh no, he's going for a Nexus actually, so just completely swapping off the tech option. He's putting up a forge, so he might be throwing up cannons here. Not what you want to do as a Protoss player. There is a tiny little choke that he can use to his advantage, but he really wants his tech up. He's got that Zealot still pounding away. And actually the other thing we got to take into account here as well is those 3 probes that were off the line. They actually did that for absolutely nothing, and those early probes are what it's all about, just denying that mining for just that small amount of time.
Yeah, the earlier in the game that the economy gets hurt, it just kind of balloons exponentially as the game progresses. On the other side of the map, worth noting that Jangbi did in fact go for 1-gate core, and I imagine that he'll probably be adding a second gateway pretty soon. Now Jaehoon's finally going to be able to start mining his gas, and in spite of that, though, he's going to be in a pretty fragile position because he's going to be relying on cannons to defend, and he's going to be much later in getting Dragoons. And what is that? A hidden gateway down in the bottom right corner of the map for Jangbi. 2 proxy gateways, and that's going to be immediately spotted.
Yeah, so I think though that regardless, I think he could have put those gateways actually in his base and he would have been fine. But putting them in a proxy position, I think is leaving him a little bit more vulnerable than he needs to be. I mean, he knows exactly what position his opponent is in. He knows that Jaehoon is, like you said, in a fragile position. So, I mean, Jaehoon knows that Jangbi's got to try to go for the break here. He's got to throw up those cannons anyways. No matter what Jangbi goes for here, he's got to throw up those cannons. Perhaps, though, I think Jangbi might have been better off opting to go for a Reaver build, because now, actually, it looks like Jaehoon is actually catching up because of this economic advantage that he's getting now, which is really surprising to me, actually, that Jangbi is just not... there we go. We do see the robotics facility, but I thought that he would have just done this a lot earlier on. Oh, so he's building... Okay, so he's going to build it in a proxy position, so he doesn't even need to build a shuttle right off the bat. So we're going to see Reavers out pretty quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much how it's going to go, and I think the reason that Jangbi is was proxying those gateways is because he reasoned that since Jaehoon had to sink all of his resources into cannons instead of units, that he wouldn't be moving out for a while, and that Jangbi would just be able to get a big contain. He got a little bit over-aggressive with his Dragoons there, I think. In taking out one of those cannons, just took a lot of hits, but it looks for the moment like Jangbi can afford to kind of keep doing this, because he's going to have his reinforcements coming in off of those 3 gateways, not to mention probably a Reaver popping pretty soon.
Yeah, and actually, I gotta also commend Jangbi on the fact that he knows exactly how many hits it takes for a Dragoon Dragoons to take out a cannon. And it looks like he needs one more hit on that last photon cannon there. He's gonna have complete free reign over that natural expansion there. Jangbi getting really aggressive here, actually doing a really fantastic job with his micro, and that's really what it's coming down to now. Is it's all about the micro, especially when it comes to dealing with static defenses like cannons. He's pushing in, and he actually, if you notice, he had 6 Dragoons and he only sent in 5 of them to take 2 shots, because it does take 10 hits to take down a cannon, which I actually didn't know until right now, so thank you, Jangbi, for that information. But the fact that he knew that ahead of time is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of stuff that I'm sure pro gamers well know. First observers out for Jangbi, and just in time to catch those Dark Templar trying to leave the base, and that is going to leave Jaehoon completely screwed. I think those DTs were about the only way that he'd be able to get back into the game, and that has now been pretty effectively foiled there by Jangbi.
Yeah, and I think Jangbi, I was just about to say here, Jangbi could probably just push in into that probe line and just completely deny mining. Those probes aren't going to be able to fight this off, and there's not enough Dragoons also to support, and he's not going to be able to push out anywhere with those DTs. Oh, I guess he is. The DTs are actually running into the main base here. I do think though that there's going to be an observer at least there in time to defend against this. He only needs... Oh wow, it looks like Jangbi actually is being caught a little bit off guard here. Those DTs could actually run into the main there, and seeing as how he just produced a Reaver, Jangbi might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. I think he's going to try to wall off that choke with perhaps a gateway, but it's all going to come down to timing here. Those DTs are now running almost in there, and it looks like a forge, a double forge actually. Really cute, kind of forming a little bit of a heart shape there, but yeah, so he's going to be able to block that off with the double forge, and he's going to have to send an observer back home, however. In the meantime, he's going to push into the main here. A little bit of a choke going on there as well for Jaehoon, so we're going to have to see, though. I do think that having lost that Nexus, that Jaehoon's too far behind, as well as a Reaver running amok in his base, but these DTs might be able to do something. We're going to have to see if Jangbi can defend. If he can, it's going to be GG. Oh, it's GG anyways.
I guess he just didn't have enough time to wait and see if he could bust the DTs in once the forge went down. But I mean, if you're running an elimination race with your 2 DTs against like a dozen Dragoons and a Reaver, chances are you're going to lose. So I guess that's the whole story there. Jangbi, though he's been slumping a lot lately, able to pick up a win off of the weaker opponent Jaehoon. It's all the hair. Without the big crazy hair, he just seems to have no confidence, does Jaehoon?
Yeah, he needs to go for a new color. Every time he comes out with a new color, he starts winning. So, like, I don't know, maybe it'll be like green or pink or, I don't know, something bright and shiny like he normally does.
Maybe he can dye it Protoss blonde.
Epic. Alright, well, Image, it was nice having you alongside. This is the last game I'm going to be commentating for the day. I'll be picking up probably within the next couple of days and hopefully get back on this commentating horse. Like I said, Image, nice commentating with you and everyone that I've been with today. So that's it for the night, guys. GG.
GG, Frank. Thanks for having me. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again sometime.
Absolutely.